Hi, I'm Rich,
And I'm Mark.
and I'm effing over it.
So much.
What are you over, Mark?
There's so much to talk about.
Yeah.
Oh man, with this week, so many topics to go over. But in general, AIPAC's a good start. But Dems included in all of the BS from the right. But I don't know if you want to talk about this week. I guess to just talk about the voting that the Democrats are doing in the Senate and the House, and siding with Republicans on insane things like the current war, the war without congressional approval, to bulldozing Gaza for Israel.
And
who on the left wants this? So who are they voting yes for other than AIPAC?
and Lebanon, because we know they're going to use it in Lebanon.
Yeah, they're already killing them too.
Yeah.
They're always conveniently left out in the news, and it's all Palestine. But no, they're moving on. They're moving on to the other territory. It's all of it. They want it all.
They want every.
And we're paying for it while we foot the bill.
I know. I'd rather some health insurance, instead of bombing people.
They get it.
A whole.
They made sure they had that covered.
Yeah. Don't they get a stipend too, or something from the state? Yeah. I'm sure we're paying.
They get a credit, like almost basically universal basic income. They get it. College tuition.
Well, people are going to say, well, they're a smaller country, so the logistics on that's easier.
Yeah, so we cover it with billions while our debt is trillions, and getting worse and worse, compounding.
Do we want to go into the debt? I don't think we want to cover the debt right now.
That's all of it. It's the future generation's problem.
Yeah.
Fiscal conservatives, this is where they get us.
Meanwhile, they add the most to the. Anyways. Yeah.
Well, it's trickle down. It's the live trickle down economics. We've been gaslit since Reagan to believe that trickle down economics works whatsoever when it's been proven. Any study will show it doesn't. Wealth is hoarded. Wealth isn't trickled down. It goes up when it's percolatory. When the money's on the bottom, it's spent.
Right.
When the top have it, it's hoarded. So
I mean, that's why we have so many billionaires now. But I just don't understand why they would all vote against, like, what Bernie brought to the floor the other day.
Well, that's why they're called corporate Democrats, and that's why they're the problem. They're enabling the billionaires. Our left is so right of center that it's ridiculous. We don't have a left in this country.
Right.
And they still have to abide by the Christian right too, It's all even if they have beliefs that might not be Christian beliefs, they have to hide it. They have to say it, I'm not Christian myself, but I believe there's no way that we haven't had a politician or like people in science that may not believe in Christianity, but they have to put up a face in politics or can't be really honest about it, in my opinion.
I just don't understand all that. I know I've been learning a lot more in the last probably the last month about it, just because I never really paid attention because I'm just not religious. So all this kind of goes over my head a little bit.
There's a lot of Americans are not, and we've never had that representation.
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
And the reason it goes over my head, just because I just don't, it just doesn't make any. Not that it doesn't make any sense. I understand it once I go through it, but
yeah, I guess because you didn't really even grow up in a religious household like I did.
I mean, I was baptized Mormon, so that's pretty.
Okay,
I mean, I wasn't. I mean, that was just for like the first 10.
Were your parents did they follow it and stuff? How old were you when you were going through that?
Up through 10, and then my stepmom was tried to get me to go to church and stuff like that. I was just one of those people that just never. It just never clicked with me, So I just don't understand the rivalries back and forth. And
well, that's the thing is, I wish a lot of people would leave everything out of it, because that's where really go back to AIPAC, and what really fuels their argument toward anything that they fall back on is anti-Semitism, when it's we're talking about humanitarian crises with killing children and women. I'm not even thinking about their faith at that point.
Right.
Their faith is beside the point, because really you're going against your faith. And and that's the thing, is I support the Jewish people who say what they're doing is against their faith. They don't stand by it.
Right.
That's the difference between Zionism and the Jewish faith. Is real Jewish people, by their faith, Zionism goes against it. The whole pure, simple point of it, it's like to consider life as discriminately, like, wasted like that,
Right.
indiscriminately, like, that's why it would be so frustrating if I were a Jewish person of faith, and like, I would be the most offended by what they're doing over there in Israel, and claiming as part of joining that, being a part of what your faith represents.
Right. Yeah, I just don't want to come across as a Holocaust denier or anything like that,
Not at
because
all.
I
Yeah.
mean, I read Anne Frank as a
Well, that's
kid
what
and cried, so
that fits the face of Holocaust victims, is using them to commit violence to that level, like, it's
Mhm.
offensive. It should be offensive to that. It's not denying it. It goes against what you should have learned, like, the whole point of learning from history to not repeat itself, and you're just doing what now, it's like that whole thing. It's just a macro level of the victim becomes the abuser in a way,
Yeah, I was just about to say
and
that
it's like you have to break that cycle.
the oppressed becomes the oppressor in the end once they gain
Yeah,
some kind of
yeah, right.
power, and it's
Yeah,
all that always
and that's
boggles
not
me.
good. Like, revenge is like that bad. We've known throughout history, like, it's a knee-jerk reaction and a human instinct reaction to hate and kick back, but we know deep down it's wrong.
Right.
And we should break the cycle, not continue it and victimize children more who have nothing to do with it.
Right.
There's this little kids in Gaza waiting for water, killing. You're hearing stories about this kind of crazy level stuff,
What was
like,
it?
but there's no excuse
Nine
for it.
kids were lining up. I saw some video this week where 9 kids were lining up to get water or something, and they indiscriminately killed
Exactly,
them.
that's what I was referencing.
I mean, yeah, all I got to do is think about it in the context of what I went like, and I'm not, like if I saw the UK doing something like that, or even ourselves, or pick a
It should be held
country.
accountable, allies or not. Like, we're a part of it. There are, like, we're giving them, and we're a part of it, and that's what is sickening, is watching it happen, and you know enabling it. Our country's enabling it, if not a whole side by side part of it.
But we don't want it, and that's the thing, is that it's growing, the sentiment that we don't want it, and it's mostly coming from the Democratic side. I think the rights. I don't know. I know Tucker's over on that. But I also don't believe he's a purist of heart when it comes to that kind of
Yeah,
his
no, I mean,
dialogue
take
around
everything
it.
with that a grain of salt. Like Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're hearing a lot of stuff, like her and him saying things and calling out Trump and the war, and actually kind of making a lot of sense, because they're finally speaking some common sense, and it's like, finally wake up, but you're still said a lot of crazy before this that I'm not going to forget.
Right. And I
But,
don't think your intentions are pure. I think it's whatever.
yeah,
I
you're
don't
playing
know.
the political back and forth right now too.
Right.
It's easy to say, it's easy to join the common sense brigade when it's on the right side of your gain, whatever you're going to gain from it.
Right. Yeah, I'm not
I'm
on.
sure it's easy to BS people when you're on that person on Fox News and you're blatantly lying to people. I'm sure that's a lot harder than when you can just report the news or call things out that you actually believe in.
Right.
So
Yeah, I think with the growing sentiment on that, especially on the left, I think people like Schumer and Jeffries and Booker and all those guys are going to have a really tough time, and it's not going to help us with 2026, and it's not going to help us in 2028 if they keep folding to these people, because I don't want to vote for any of that, and I don't want to vote for any of that. And there's plenty
That's
of
what worries
websites out
me.
there right now tracking where all that money's coming from, even though they tried to hide it in Illinois or, wherever those couple ones where the, women's of whatever that they try to hide it under, you know, and it
Well,
still
there's
is
going to
being
be a lot of
found.
weaponized. It's going to be like Bernie, and there's going to be a lot of weaponized propaganda for different candidates at different levels. Swalwell, there seems to be a lot of real evidence, so I'm all for it. But I feel like in the future too, what we have to worry about is a lot of stuff in propaganda being to smear different Democrats on the left, so we're all split and divided. Because that is something that the right really has against us. Is they can worship a cult of personality, even if he's saying crazy stuff, and they can just ride with it, even though he wants to act like he's Jesus and post photos of him as Jesus, even though it's crazy, like literally go against the Pope. You go against the Pope and you're a Catholic and you're sitting there and you're like, yeah, it's just him, and you can still ride with him. And I'm like, okay, well,
I mean, isn't JD supposed to be Catholic now? So isn't like the
he
Pope supposed to
can
be his boss
he can
technically?
he converted he converted to Catholicism what years, who knows, 2 days ago, and is
Converted.
fighting the Pope already. Like, he's going against the Pope. It's like, you know what? I'm Buddhist, but you know who's a real idiot? This Buddha guy. What is he talking about?
I mean, you were raised Catholic, so not to call you
Yeah,
out.
I was raised Catholic. I
Oh,
know. I mean, I was raised Catholic.
right.
I
So
would
isn't that
consider
like a
myself
big
atheist now, but
isn't that a big no-no for you guys? Like to go against the
you would
Pope?
think. I mean, I talked to my family who's still in the church. Ask them. I mean, it's kind of getting me on the side of the Pope. I haven't been like, I've liked recent popes, the ones who I liked Francis, and I like this new one kind of. So
The, the,
I'm honestly like, I'm kind of pro Pope more than Church of Catholicism. Like American Catholicism is the cult more so than the Vatican even now, it seems. So
maybe I don't know. Again, I don't because I don't. I just don't. Whatever. Um, but yeah, I love the Pope. I love both. I love the last Pope and this Pope. This
yeah,
Pope's
right. They practice what they preach, and that's the problem. It's like, I'm all for, freedom of religion. That's what this country was supposed to be founded on, even though, in my opinion, it's never been the case.
right,
But I'm all for it in theory, and believe what you want to believe. That makes you a good person.
right.
I don't feel the need to have a hovering person watching over me to try and be good to people. But if you feel like you need that, then
Well,
that's one thing, or just what you believe, whatever, whatever you want to believe.
we definitely share the memes back and forth of how we're going to go up. Like we're passing other Christian people as rapture happens because we act
That's the
more
thing. I
religious
know.
than a lot.
Well, that's, yeah, and like going back to what you said, I was raised in it, and you witnessed people, and like we hear these things growing up, and that's what's so frustrating and shocking of the last 10 to whatever, however many years, is the weaponization of the church to go against the actual beliefs and preachings of the Bible.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, I find that all very. I just don't know what to do with it, and then and then you find out about AIPAC, and Israel, how because I just don't pay attention to.
Well, that's a big reason as to why we've been so committed to Israel, is the rapture belief of this Armageddon, and Jesus is going to come back, and Jewish people control the Holy Land that is Israel. So we've been invested as a society in our government that's really been Christian,
Right,
you know, has been invested in keeping Jewish people in Israel. And that's why, like, evangelicals make missions out there. There are Christians out there. There's
right.
Christians going out there and taking over homes alongside of Israelis taking over Palestinian
Are there
homes.
really?
Hmm.
Mm, I didn't know that.
So, and yeah, and it's like we're hand in hand. The real hardcore
So is it just because
That's
then they can get a free house
Hegseth.
out of the deal? Is that what it is? Like, oh, if I just
Yeah,
go over there
or
and
they just like
show
they're
up?
so staunch and Jesus is coming back. They want to be there when Jesus comes back. And this is like the scary stuff with Hegseth, man. They want to bring on Armageddon. They don't not only what scares me with Hegseth is in this military having nukes and Israel having nukes is not only that like being there when Jesus comes back for Armageddon, but creating the scenario. They want to create Armageddon they can create the Armageddon with nukes to bring Jesus back. Is that mentality flipping in that direction is what scares the crap out of me.
So is he gonna stand in the middle of Israel and quote Pulp Fiction while he does this, or?
But that's just shows the childish mentality that this man has and how much power he's wielding and just like
See, I never
not
under,
even understanding that it's not the Bible or not even really understanding what he's using it for and understanding like that it was satire and like this is a hitman. So now, or you just want to be a hitman and you just want to kill,
right.
or I mean,
But Samuel L.
just
did it
Department of
better.
War. Okay.
Let's give Samuel
Well,
L. his
yeah,
prop. He did it better.
Tarantino and Samuel should be offended.
Yeah.
They both.
I
I know
that
it's just
that's also what I always found baffling too, is like this piece of land, only this piece is the Holy Land. But yet God made the whole world. So why isn't the whole world the Holy Land? Like, why are you fighting? I just, again, that just goes back. Even as a kid, I didn't understand. I mean, I've read enough of it. I know enough of it. I've studied some of it through a lot of documentaries. You know what I mean, just to try to understand more.
yeah.
But I'm not going to go crack open the Bible and read it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just not that person to where I'm that
The people
curious.
who are staunch believers. I wouldn't be surprised if Hexeth never has really dove down and actually read the Bible
Right,
as much as he went to quote fake Bible verses. Because he probably there's no difference because he's never actually really read it.
right,
If he did, maybe little snippets, but not like took it in or understood it at all.
right,
Like I don't trust these guys reading comprehension levels, let alone reading something that's written like the Bible's written. Try and read old written Shakespeare or Homer and things like that. That's hard to read.
right,
Your reading comprehension's probably bad when you're writing a tweet, let alone going back to that kind of stuff.
right. Well, yeah. I and I say things that way too because I'm not offensive. Like, I don't. Again, we live in America. I don't care what your religion is personally. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just feel like that also gives
Maybe
me
don't create wars based off of it. That would be nice, and then I wouldn't be talking about your religion or being upset about it if there wasn't violence due to it. Like that's the thing that's really turned me off of the church the most is the way it's weaponized to do evil more than I've seen it do good. Honestly, I've seen it benefit societies and churches do good for communities and stuff, and gives you something to believe in. Great. But it also kills children in the name of it, or like weaponizes people to do so. And
But that's not the religion. That's the
it's not the
people that
church.
are
No, I know.
involved
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that.
Like they're
You know,
the
that's
people weaponizing it. It's not the church doing it.
right.
Right. I should say. Right.
Although we got to talk, then there is the Native Americans and how all them were treated via the
Yeah, it goes
church
like
here.
we can go down a whole list
Yeah,
of different ways.
here and in
Even
Canada.
just the Catholic Church and kids of recent times,
Right,
predatory stuff, like not necessarily murder, but
right.
stuff like growth, just evil,
Yeah.
you know.
It just seems to me like we keep running into that part of the world and it just never works out for us. It's just a money hole. That's all I see it as, is just one big money hole. Like, why can't you just do trade agreements, stuff like that? I understand, like, we need all the trade agreements with some, some, if not all of, the Middle East. And I mean, we created Iran to begin with in the 50s, all the way through. I've studied up on
Well, it's
that
why we have
recently.
military bases. It's all control. That's why we have 300 military or 800, I think, military bases around the world,
Right.
Staggering number. I'm pretty sure
800 is what I saw recently this week.
Yeah, right.
I don't
So,
mind all that. I mean, because I want to be able to, like, let's say China
but
does
what's
make a
it for
move
really deep
on.
down?
Yeah, if China does make the
But
move on the Southern Pacific, I want us to be there to be able to help out, but help out.
is that why though? Is that why we're there?
I think so since after World War II. Yeah, I mean, we've had a base on Japan, I believe, Okinawa, if I'm remembering from not to base all my
I don't know.
knowledge off movies right now. I'm kind of saying this as a joke, but if I remember from Karate Kid, wasn't Mr. Miyagi from Okinawa and there was a base there?
Well, yeah, we definitely have bases all over. It's not just the Middle East,
Right.
but
I'm saying that
that's
to
the
keep
thing
this
is
kind of
that what?
lighthearted
But that's
too.
why it's like, what is it for? How is it for defense? And like countries that don't really want them
Well,
there. I
because
don't
China
know.
is trying to take over. They're building man-made islands in the middle of the Pacific and then saying this is our island and slowly trying to inch their way towards New Zealand and the Philippines and and Australia
Yeah,
even, so that they can gain more shipping lanes. Because if they control the shipping lanes, they can control more,
and that
just
was
like the
like the
Strait of
post-World
Hormuz
War
and all
II
that.
reaction that like we're so far away from now, especially in Trump's era, that we've just abandoned all of our allies. So now what are they for in a sense? Because what are we on those bases if they're for defense without NATO and like things, if we're actually not there to like be a defense for good, you know? Like I think we can get back to that hopefully, but I just like that's helpful. Like I get that that's where we were in the mentality of post-World War and defense
Right.
for global hostile takeover, but now it's being like it's most things, like even some things that are created for good and how we turn and weaponize it. Even like just this last weekend was Coachella. Come to find out, do you know that Coachella was created by Pearl Jam to like avoid Ticketmaster and the gouging of ticket prices, to have an open field that you can go and see a show for a decent price. And now look at it. It's the epitome of price gouging.
Corporate greed.
Corporate
645
greed.
tickets was the tickets, I think, $645.
So look at that on another level of like, sure, like, but look how just, late stage capitalism has turned everything. That'll be another topic for another day. We'll go down late stage
Yeah.
capitalism. I'll go off.
Yeah, yeah. I'm trying to understand the late stage capitalism thing. I understand it, but I'm just understanding how everybody thinks that we're
Well,
there.
and I see that there needs to be competition, and capitalism has its benefits, and there's the, there's the whole other left going far into the communism that's not good either. So it's
Yeah,
like you just take the good and the bad, you checks and balances.
right.
That's what we need to get back to, checks and balances. There's a gray area. There's things that like capitalism is good for, but can't be taken advantage of. And then you can take that back, and then I don't know. It would take. I feel like that's the thing is like we really know if we ask economists and things and look at history and like what social benefits are actually effective and what's worth investing in, what should be illegal. We know monopolies should be illegal, but look at the state of the corporate. Like, are they actually illegal? No. Everything's owned by one company.
Yeah,
No,
it's all umbrella shell
So,
companies.
like, we really know. It's just we're letting that capitalism take over on the dark side of things, where there's just so it goes back to the levels of people being bought in
Congress,
Congress,
Senate.
or go back to corporate dens,
Yeah,
and
I don't want Elon Musk
AIPAC and
buying our elections any more than I want AIPAC running my elections, because it's supposed to be our
like you want to
elections.
find waste, fraud, and abuse. Let's start with the looking at the stock portfolios of everyone in Congress. Let's maybe really audit the Pentagon. Maybe let's
They
really
haven't
see where the
passed
money's
one.
going.
Yeah, they
Like
haven't
we
passed one in
know.
years. Yeah, we know where it all is.
That's what's the most frustrating. We know what we should do. That's America. We'll make the mistake knowing it's a mistake 50 times before correcting it.
Or just keep doing it because they're the ones being paid, and
Until we're made, yeah, forced our hand. Like,
which is what it feels like with the AIPAC thing. It's like, look, we don't want to be beholden. I don't want to be beholden to Israel just because it's Israel. They're not our country.
right.
I don't want
Yeah,
it. I
it's
don't
like,
want it any
sure.
more than I would want
And
the UK.
Israel has the right to defend itself. No one's saying you don't. Like,
Right.
and no one's not condemning Hamas for October 7th. Let's
No.
start with that. Everyone condemns that and all the violence on October 7th. No one is okay with.
Right.
No one is also okay with you killing how many times the amount of people directly after. When's enough? Like,
Right.
your revenge is unsatiated at this point. Like, enough.
Right.
You're not defending yourself. Israel has a right to defend itself. This isn't defense. That's the thing.
Right.
You're claiming it is. It's not.
It's not good for anybody. I
Right.
mean, I grew up. I mean, I'm Gen X. I grew up in the '80s with all the, after Vietnam War movies where all the guys were, you know, PTSD over having to kill kids in villages and stuff like that. I'm not acting like I know it's there or know anything about Vietnam in that aspect of it, other than what I heard growing up or what I seen in movies, not and what I've learned through documentaries and stuff like that on it. But why would we, if we knew all that's bad back then, which we knew, you know what I mean? We've always known, like, don't kill the kids, and we just allow them to keep doing it, and we fund it. We're no different than them. That's all it makes us. And I can't. I just don't understand why, if so many of the Democrats don't want it, you're still voting along those lines to allow them to keep doing it, other than you're beholden to them, which means you're not working for us. And it's not going to work in the end, because I already know a bunch of people. I keep seeing the same sentiment over and over and over again online. Like, we're just not going to vote for you. We're just not going to do it. And we're just going to keep ending up with Vance or Rubio or whoever. And it's going to be more of this crazy chaos. And I'm not saying Vance or Rubio are going to be just as bad, but they're not any smarter, I don't feel like, than them, because look at where they are. You know what I mean? Like, they're just beholden to him. And I don't want anybody beholden to a president. Like, I don't want the same thing. Well, it's not what we're built on. We're not built on being beholden to a president. The president's beholden to us.
Yeah.
You
So
know.
we need to, well, yeah, and that's what I'm hoping might come out of Trump leaving, at least, is that no one can really hold a grasp of his cult of personality that he has somehow bewitched people with, like, we've never bought into his bullshit. He's a con man and I see it, but he's somehow witch doctored his fucking stumbling words ass dumbass comments to, like, make very smart people go against their own beliefs. I have family that I respect that I don't respect anymore as much. No, I'm not saying that. I mean,
It's fair. I know.
no, I've also, like, because I'll say it, like, it's not in any, direct family, but it's people that I've loved that I thought, would have a higher morality than being okay with detention centers for immigrants and things. And it's sickening. Like, it's like, that's what's hard and frustrating for me, is like people like,
yeah, when I read that
that.
about the Japanese internment camps from World War II, I was like, oh, thank God we're like growing up, I was just like, thank God we're past that kind of
Right.
mentality.
Yeah.
Like, we're better than
It's that
that
feeling of,
now.
like, you're learning in school and be like, oh man, that's a thing of the past.
Yeah,
I'm glad,
like,
like, yeah,
and
like,
they're like, hold my
oh,
beer, and you're like,
we know that's immoral now. We're better now. No, we're not. We're still a step out of the cave. We'll nuke each other. Hopefully not.
yeah,
Like, I'm praying.
yeah, I'm one step away. Yeah, yeah, and it just baffles me too, because I'm here in Central Florida, and I grew up here from very old, like, from pre the what am I trying to say here? The Great Depression. Families that were here since the Great Depression, lived through it, had to go through canneries, always warned us about the slick silver tongue, New Yorker coming down with his carpet bagging and all that. And then every single Southerner's like, I'm not worthy to this guy. And it's like, this is exactly
the epitome of it.
Yeah.
Like, I know. It just baffles me.
I'm just like,
why?
Why? He's exactly who they said. I mean, I've been in New York. I like New York. New York's cool as shit. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying his type, so.
Right.
I just don't understand
it. People who, he's the slumlord, sleazeball.
Right. He would have came down, sold a bunch of snake oil, ran through every town, then came back up through, with his carpet bag.
He was a joke. Really, The Apprentice was the only successful thing he ever did, and
I don't even know if that was a success. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
Well, he made money from that. I think that was the only thing that he. No, I never really watched it, but I know he made money from it. For him, it was successful, and I'm sure, yeah, it was a successful show. It ran for a bunch.
I don't know.
So whatever. But that's he rode the fame of that. But he's bankrupted every other business basically.
Oh, I know.
He rips people off. He's that guy who's the contractor who does a big job and gets ripped off and ruins his business. Now those contractors are voting for him, which is crazy.
I don't understand that either. But how do you bankrupt a casino? I don't get it. I don't understand how
because you overspend, and that's what he's doing to our country.
Yeah.
He's doing what he did. The casino's a pure bankroll to him, and that's what the debt is to him.
Well, yeah, he gets a jet.
Pure bankroll.
He gets a plane out of the deal.
And he's going to walk away with billions.
Yeah,
he's going to walk away with billions himself personally. While that casino that crumbles after he leaves and walks away with his bailout, whatever he made, bankrupting the casino, he made money personally while bankrupting, which is the case.
Right.
To invest in other failing companies is what he's doing to our company. That casino that's crumbling.
Yeah.
That's what's
if you look at us as a company, which everybody wanted us to look at us as, which doesn't make any sense. I don't.
This is what kind of businessman he is.
I am not a business. I own a business, but I am not a business. I don't want you to treat me like an employee because you are not my CEO. I elected you. You're there to work for me, not vice versa.
And it's the whole argument with the Postal Service, keyword. They're like, it doesn't make any money. Because it's a service.
It's a service.
Do you want your mail? Do you want your mail to be delivered to you? It's gonna. They have to get paid to do that, and there has to be infrastructure to do that.
I've never understood going after the Postal Service. I understood at 5, what the Postal Service was, because I remember them be all up in arms when they were going to raise.
And that's what's so frustrating. And then, sure, you can have that argument. Can I have the argument of auditing the Pentagon now?
Right.
No. Stop there.
I mean, the Pentagon makes us money. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm sure there's plenty of people getting paid that, are smart people.
But that's the thing is who's getting paid? Where is it going?
I mean, I live near
It's not being audited.
Lockheed.
I don't know. Look into that because it's not being audited and we don't know what it's being spent on.
I live near Lockheed, because I'm, like I said, Central Florida, and I love NASA, but there's plenty of people around Lockheed that are making money. I've met some people that make some pretty decent money at Lockheed, so I'm pretty sure they.
Yeah, you're going to get a Lockheed. I mean, I'm sure there should be some kind of investment in that, but not what it is and how much. And they don't need $1.5 trillion.
No.
And I would want to do an episode on the military waste in this country because it's crazy.
We'd have to look a lot.
It's almost like.
That's what I'm saying. Why are we in this war other than for Israel?
Right. It's just a blatant example of it, though. The waste was kind of easy to call waste when we weren't at war, but now we're actually spending it.
Yeah,
Like we were wasting it for, ammo and like planes and tanks to sit on tarmacs and not being used. But now we're using it, I guess. But all that costs a lot of money to use
yeah.
too. So
$4 million
for what?
interceptor missiles to their $20,000 drones. That's
And for what? And with no goal in mind,
yeah.
just to end up with the straight lockdown, but now we're double blocking down again, like
Oh no,
which
it's open
helps.
again. Did you see it's open again? It's open again. But it was
It's because
already
it's
open.
Friday.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, it's the market.
Yeah,
It's the
that's
market manipulation.
yeah, I know. That's what I think too. I'm like this. Okay,
That's
whatever.
all it is.
Iran will do whatever they
It's
want.
literally every weekend. It's market manipulation.
Yeah,
And they'll make billions and walk away with it because no one's going to look into it or prosecute it.
I'm pretty sure that's what Netanyahu sold him when he walked into that oval, into that thing months ago, and said, "This is how you could do all that. You're already doing it anyways. Go big or go home." And then Ukraine's the one that comes to our aid with the drones. And, yeah.
Back from our commercial break.
Yeah, our own commercial break because we have any sponsors or anything yet, but that's okay.
Yeah, right.
Hopefully, I can just seamlessly put these together. I don't know. We'll figure it out. If
Yeah, it's a
not,
little testing round. That's kind of general. That's what I was saying to say is like this is just a general discussion type. Maybe we'll, have more of a topic-based episodes later to get more ideas on, discussions on general topics. Like we can just go off on APAC, which I'm sure will be a topic of discussion in a lot of future episodes.
I just don't see them any differently than I see Elon or Jeff Bezos or any of that. It's like I don't want these people deciding my fate. It's
Yeah,
their voice
exactly. And that's
just because
the
they
thing. I
have
don't
more
care.
money. Just because they have more money does not give them more of a voice. That's not what the Constitution says. Period. The end. And
Citizens United, that's what needs to go.
right. I hope Minnesota does exactly what they're gonna do, and I hope they do vote in getting rid of Citizens United in that state. And I hope every single state. I think it's Minnesota. No, not Minnesota.
Yeah, no,
No,
I think you're right.
is
I
it
think it was right.
Minnesota?
Yeah, pretty sure. Pretty sure.
It's one of those up there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
You pretty sure it's Minnesota? Yeah, I get a little. It's Friday late. My brain's like
Right. Yeah.
checked
No,
out.
like right. It's
I
like I
could
don't
pull
have
it
the
up.
notes in front of me. If I'm quoting statistics, it's general.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's Minnesota. Let's look real quick.
Yeah, no, I'm
No,
fairly
it's not
confident.
Minnesota.
Oh, if I had to put money on it, I'd have lost that bet. I
Yeah, it's
guess.
not
It's up
Minnesota.
there. Is it like Wyoming or Wisconsin? Maybe it's up there though. I know it's It's like
No, it's not Wisconsin. It's somewhere in the center of the country. Um, State proposing
Missouri.
Missouri.
Let's just name all the states.
Let's just name them all. Montana. I knew it was an M. I knew it was an M.
That
Yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, up there, North Dakota, South Dakota, Montana, Minnesota. The don't you know states. I love that. I love that. I always have. I don't know. It's so like yeah. It's so cool.
That's very Canadian. I think it's like almost like we merged accents together in that area. It's like
Right.
almost sounds Canadian.
Right. Canada, huh? Going around everybody going around us like bet we'll just go make trade deals with everybody else and cut you out.
I don't blame them, man. Good for them.
Yeah, I don't blame them either.
It makes me jealous of their citizens that they have competent leadership.
Yeah, I don't see anything wrong with Carney thus far. Do you?
Yeah. No,
But I don't live in Canada, so I don't know critiques, that well. I just know what I see.
and critique a politician. I'm sure, like any human being, I can say something that, we just live in, like myself, can be criticized for any number of things. Criticize your politicians. Make sure they're kind of siding majority of what you're deciding. If they're voting for crazy things against what you believe and you're still voting for Chuck Schumer, how dare you?
Chuck Schumer needs to be primaried. I know I said it already once, but Jeffries
Yeah.
needs to be tried. I liked Booker. Booker needs to be primaried. Anybody who ran up to get a photo with Netanyahu, sorry, like, or or make them beholden. Like, say no. Like, you don't get any more money unless. Like, I'm okay with
The
that too.
lack of
Like,
a backbone for funding is the real problem in
yeah,
our government, you know?
yeah. Like, I would.
Constantly running for re-election and requiring millions of dollars to do it is a problem. Like,
John Ossoff. I was like, I was rooting for him, and then it's like APAC, and it's like, I can't. And we need Georgia, but it's like, why am I going to send you $20, dude? Like, why? I'm just not. I get the email and I just delete it immediately. There's nothing you can say to me. And that study came out a month ago about how that's why Kamala lost was because of Israel. Like, and you still don't take the hint. You're still voting against all that. Like, take the hint. The study's there. We're supposed to be the Democrats are supposed to be, oh, well, we follow studies and, data, and everything else is like the data's right there in front of you. It's everybody's screaming it at you, and you're still like, yeah, no, we're going to do what we want to do just because I don't know if they feel like there's
easy
just people.
money. It's easy money. That's all it comes down to. Is it's easy money, and then now you're beholden. And that's like any different interest now.
Yeah. I
Whatever,
understand. I understand lobbying to a point as a business owner. I understand it, because like you need somebody there in Washington
Yeah,
to
but
speak
and
for
then but
you.
there are
But
laws against paying people outright and like gifts and things, and look at Clarence Thomas and all this stuff and lobbying. Like there should be checks on it,
you don't. Do you want to do the
like
Supreme
anything.
Court? You want to go into the Supreme Court too right now? I don't know.
Another day. We don't have to do it all at once.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I feel like we're just pulling every
But
trigger we
no, I know.
can.
But no, I mean it's all full circle. That's what I was kind of
Mm,
saying. This is a general overview of like so much umbrella of effing over all of
yeah,
it.
yeah. Do you see that they are holding one or two of the ICE agents? They got them today in Minnesota for something. It wasn't even connected to Renee Good or Preddy or the other guy. I forget his name. God, I feel
They
so bad.
arrested two ICE agents. I haven't seen this. No.
Yeah, I think it was one or two. They pulled a gun on the guy on the freeway or something, and they got him. They've got him. So I hope that snowballs into them getting, because
Some
they,
accountability
yeah,
or
the
something.
accountability for Preddy and Good as well. And it's all a shit show, man. Every bit of it.
Just any accountability would be nice. That's like the most, the last 10 years of watching the lack of accountability from what you would think is the Constitution level. You can just ignore the Constitution if you have the right people behind you. And it's been proven with this guy.
I feel like it's slowly been going that way since Reagan. The more hindsight 2020 it, but it's been both sides too. I'm not happy
That
with
might
either
be a
side.
good, if we're pitching ideas for future episodes, that might be a good episode too. Is let's start at the beginning and start with Reagan. Let's go Reaganomics, and we'll just. I mean, we
Uh,
can go before that in the good times. The post World War II economic booms and stuff, and why they happened with shovel-ready projects and FDR. And this is what we need now. My pitch to cure the housing crisis. pay everybody $40 an hour to build houses.
Right. Yeah.
Pay everybody $40 an hour to build affordable houses. They don't have to be anything crazy. They can be the size of a 2-bedroom apartment trailer or double wide.
12 to 1400 square
People
feet.
happily
Yeah.
live in. There is millions and millions of Americans who would kill to live in a double wide at a reasonable cost.
I,
Like double wides in California are like crazy, and then you have lot fees and whatnot and stuff. Like
I just
it's
saw a
insane.
thing from Hawk on how it takes like 10 to 15 years in your state to build a house because of all the regulations. That's insane to me living in Florida.
But
Like, they throw
and that's
houses
the
here every
thing that
6 months.
that gives fuel to the fire of conservative arguments because there is a lot of frustration with that, and they have a lot of argument to that makes sense. It's like, yeah, there is a lot of red tape, unnecessary red tape. Let's take off the unnecessary and leave the necessary because there's that too. Like there's
Yeah,
plenty of that.
I'm all for it. My your sister, my wife, was just telling me today how somebody she knows, they're like 22, 23, something like that. They know nothing of buying a house, and they just could not find anything within like 40 miles of Orlando that was in their price range. It was just insane. They had to go way outside, and they were like, it just wasn't. But I've watched it because I've been in real estate for 30 years almost. So I've seen all this happen up close and personal on how, yeah, there are no starter homes. I was meeting kids my age back in the day, and now I meet none of them,
Well,
you
you look
know?
and you do the math, and it's saying if you had the purchasing power of what you had in the 60s or 70s, that the minimum wage would be almost $70 now.
Yeah,
So
66.
if we're gonna, yeah, sure, maybe then you can buy that $150,000 starter home, $200,000 starter home, 400,000 here. Like
It's 400,000 is the median,
yeah.
yeah,
So
the state is the average, I believe, for the
you gotta kind of
country.
be in the desert. No, nowhere out here to get
Yeah,
that though too.
I think when I bought my first house, it was like 285. Like, y'all would die for that now.
Yeah, that, let alone like something like reasonable. Yeah, it's like I keep seeing a lot of memes now too or whatnot. It's like all the boomers like crying about losing 20,000 on their million, selling their house for $2 million. Meanwhile, they bought it for 15K and a pack of gum, and but it's just exaggerating it.
It is
But
exaggerated,
it's
but I
true.
think
It's
they,
crazy, like how much of it, like insane disparity 50 years has been versus income levels, you
but
know?
let's keep sending our money to Israel
Right.
rather than fixing all these problems that we've brought up in a
And
short
cutting
amount of
breaks to
time.
the people who have the money, cut more breaks to them. They need the break. Man, make it make sense.
I don't know, dude. It doesn't. It just doesn't. None of it makes any sense. Neither side, really. Really, with the stuff they're doing. And not, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're at a lull right now, trying to think of the next thing to say, so we can
No,
just
yeah.
keep going on.
Well, I think that was a good overview, man. Like, and we can come back and we'll have more of a topic discussion. Like I really want to go down Reagan, and just the economics. It'd be nice to actually, like, eventually we can start to have people on to almost debate because I want to hear somebody's argument as to how trickle down economics is actually beneficial to low income people,
it
the
hasn't
majority
been.
of Americans. Yeah.
I
Make
mean,
that argument because I want to hear it make sense because
I'm
I'll
not going to
argue it.
say, I mean, I grew up not very affluent. Um, and I've ended up there, but I feel like I've lucked out and I've worked a ton, I have. It's not like it was handed to me. I've worked a ton to get here, but I don't know if it would have been any easier or worse if we weren't under Reaganomics either. So we don't have a good other than prior to it, but I also know like the Jeff Bezoses and the Musks and all of them.
It's a good example of it, the sense of like, like the point that the candidate from Maine, I'm forgetting his name,
Yeah,
was making about the guy in the coal mine, you know, having enough for
to send his kid to
just a
college.
labor job, send his kids to college, have a single family home, have a retirement, you know, and the amount of jobs that you can make that argument with that are poverty level jobs now,
Right.
like
Because they've
jobs
devalued
that,
them all. They devalued all those jobs. They've made them to
and
where you work that job. Oh, okay. Type of deal. It
but
seems like
look
a
at
lot of
where
that
the
was
money's
happening when I was a
going, because
kid.
that's going to go back to Reaganomics and the stock buybacks, where the money's going,
Hmm.
the stock buybacks, the pay disparity between the top level employees, what they're getting paid, and the lowest level employees, how that disparity has changed. There's so many other factors that go into it that we could almost prove that it would be different without Reaganomics, you
Yeah.
know?
Oh no, I know it would 100%. I'm just saying, like, I don't know. I don't know how it would look just because it's always been this
Because
way.
you have more people that can afford those single family homes, send their kids to college, to create more of those people who can afford those single family homes and work in the workforce, create savings, spend more money's in the economy. That's how you have a booming economy. It's been
Yeah.
stagnant because of Reaganomics, you
Yeah,
know?
I don't disagree with anything you're saying.
Yeah.
I I don't understand how they can't see like this is actually hurting society as a whole. I feel like because like I said, I used to meet kids my age at 27 years old buying houses, and I don't meet those kids anymore. I just don't see them. It's very, very rare that I ever see those anybody under 30 anymore. And I used to see a lot more of them because I used to kind of feel like I was behind other people, you know, just because of how it all works to a degree, but I think there does need to be a shakeup, like everybody's saying. I don't think Trump was the answer to that. In fact, I knew he wasn't the answer to that. I just looked at the first time, and everybody wants to claim like his economy was good and all that, but it really wasn't. Because I would hear everybody complaining about the price of homes, how nobody could still afford them. Even back then, underneath 2% mortgages, they still couldn't afford them. So it's been a problem for a long time. And it's going to continue to be a problem. I know our state's been short of a million homes for 10 years. That's, and that's my state alone, on inventory. I can't imagine other places where it's not as busy as Florida, you know.
Yeah, and that's what goes with the frustrating part of like the election is, we had two candidates that no one was a huge fan of, but look at one side that had a plan for housing, you know,
It was
creating
something.
housing. It
It
was
was
something.
something. Yeah,
Yeah.
something. Yeah, I watched all of Trump's speeches. I didn't hear a
And
single plan.
and the loudest things that he was saying was the no new wars and lowering inflation, and look where that's gone. Like,
Interest rates are going the other way now too because of it, and all because of Netanyahu. AIPAC. All right, man. I think we got
yeah.
a full episode in the bag. How
Yeah.
you feel on the first one? You feel good? Let's
Yeah,
let's
it's a
talk it out on
good
this.
discussion. It was a good discussion. Could kind of get the jitters out, and I don't know.
See where it
We'll
goes.
try and come back and maybe like have some more concrete ideas on what to discuss. This was more of like a top of the dome
I'm okay with that.
frustrations in the week. That
I feel
too,
like a lot
and
of it's
that'll
going to
be a
be
lot.
like
That'll be
that.
most of it.
Yeah,
That'll be most of it. But
rambling Gen Xer and rambling millennial.
yeah, pretty much.
I'm okay with it.
Yeah,
I'm
I'm just voicing what hopefully people agree with. I don't know. I don't know if they feel the same way.
yeah. All right, man. Well, episode
All right.
1. Let's see if my skills are good. I don't know. I haven't used this software yet, so
Yeah, it's like a trial run. You know,
if
we
not, I'll
get
post it in 2
if we get
parts.
2 views, we'll high five.
Will it be our views?
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, on our other YouTube accounts where it makes it
Right,
looks
yeah.
like
Right, our personal account. Yep.
right. Hey, dude, we got 3.
His
I know.
name
I've watched it
looks
3
suspicious.
times.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, that's
So,
going to happen. You know,
yeah,
because we're going to be
exactly.
like, "How's it look?" You know, type of deal. Like,
Right.
all right, man. Well, be
If
cool.
we see that 5th one pop up, maybe they'll be like,
Oh, I'm going to send it to a few people. Yeah, I'll be like, "You watch it or else," you know.
yeah, right.
Or
Like,
else
I think
don't
you're
call.
rambling up. No.
Right, or else don't call me for your power bill or whatever this month.
Yeah, right.
All right, man. Well, episode 1's done. Let's see how it rolls. Maybe we'll
Talk, brother.
we'll talk and text some more this week and get it figured out by next Friday. Just keep rolling and see how it works.
Yeah. Just give it another go. Roll it back.
All right, man. I'm effing over it still. I still
Effing
haven't
over
gotten
it,
it all
man.
out.
Yeah.
All
Still
right,
effing over it. Yeah, still plenty to be effing over it. We'll see what we're effing over next week.
all right. Like, share, subscribe, comment, thumbs down. Thumbs down are always good. We like those too.
Comment. If you
Right.
do not agree with me, comment down below.
That's okay. I want you to not agree with me. I want to see.
Honestly, that's what I'm saying with the discussion. Like, defend it. Defend
Right.
Reaganomics. I want to know how a working man, it benefits the working man. Tell me in the
AIPAC.
comments.
Hey, defend AIPAC. Defend Schumer. Defend Jeffries. Defend Booker.
Right.
Defend the crazy guy, grandpa in the frickin' White House destroying it. All right, we got to cut it somewhere. Be cool, man.
Till next time. Later, man.
Later.